Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review impressions of a knife that I have very much enjoyed checking out. This is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. Now you know I've already reviewed and handled the Waypoint LC. It's the one in the G10 scales, right? Or G10 on one side and I believe it's titanium on the other. I can't remember. It was somebody loaned it to me, and it had the one with the step milled blade, which is really cool. This is the L. This is the Waypoint L. This is very similar to the Drift L and the Drift LC, right? So you had the Drift LC, which was G10 scales and then titanium back, and it had caged bearings. The Waypoint LC was very similar as well. This is the Waypoint L. This is the one that is phosphor bronze washers, Vanax super clean blade steel, titanium handles, and then all the steel in here is LC200N. It's a super saltwater type of knife. Really, really cool design. Let's talk about this knife. This is the Waypoint L. It is manufactured by Quiet Carry. Well, Quiet Carry, I think, outsources it, but we don't really know who makes it. Its quality is outstanding. Might be outsourced through multiple vendors that they use, but all I know is every time I get one of their knives, they're just really phenomenal, okay? The designer is Quiet Carry, directly from Quiet Carry. So, you know, I would just say I would list Quiet Carry as the designer, not necessarily a name. I don't really know who the gentleman or gentlemen's are of Quiet Carry, but I don't know if it's a group of folks or one person, but really, really, I love their aesthetics. I love their designs. All right, so let's talk about the materials. This is titanium handles. It is textured on this side, beautifully textured, as you can see. In the back, it's stone-washed titanium handle. It is a wire clip, LC200N. It is a titanium, is it? Wait a second. I think that might be steel. Let me see. Yeah, LC200N liner. So it's LC200N liner. It's an inset liner, if you will, on the inside of the titanium handle. Weight relief on one side over here, and then the liner is inset right over here. Does engage the tang of the blade. Looks like a good 70–80% right there, but it's solid in there, no blade play. Nice cutaway axis on the titanium scales to get to that. Nice and chamfered right there. You can drop it. And I've gotten this tuned really nicely with the phosphor bronze, very much like my Spydercos and other knives that I have that are like this, so that I can actually flick it and still drop it without any sort of blade play. There's no blade play in here anywhere. And you can also hear the beautiful click on the detent. Let's listen. Nice and clickety. Yeah, let me move this card out of the way so you can focus on that. Nice and clickety one more time. Yeah, really nice. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. The action is beautiful. It is a thin blade. We're going to do some measurements and we'll get all that together. But it's nice and thin, nice and large. This, like if you ever thought the Drift L was just a little wide and a little fat in the grip, this is much thinner and longer. So if you large hands, I think you're really going to enjoy this. We'll do some measurements here in a little bit about that. But again, titanium handle, beautiful texture, which gives you a nice grip. Wire clip goes in and out of the pocket. I got to tell you, Quiet Carry does the best wire clip out there, period. Their wire clips don't really move around and do weird things in my pocket. They work. I don't know if this is because it's LC200N, it's a better steel, whatever. They work. They work really well, and I like them. Beautifully chamfered all the way around. There's not a sharp point anywhere, even in the liner here, where normally you would little things to catch. It does have a little sharpening choil. You could sort of choke up if you wanted to, maybe for a pinch grip, I guess. It's a large blade, beautiful, kind of a clip point, I would say, at the end. You know, it's kind of been clipped off a little bit, close to a drop point, but it's got a point, right? So it's definitely, I would consider it a clip point. Hollow grind. This is Vanax super clean, super crazy sharp. Love this blade. It's one of my favorites in my carry now. Immediately, I just was so excited to get this knife, and man, I've enjoyed this knife. I got to tell you, just so you know, I'm not a Quiet Carry fanboy. Okay, I did do a review of the IQL that I liked, and I kind of tore it apart because I was very disappointed with the chamfering and the radius chamfering they did on the liner, and it was very uncomfortable, and I didn't recommend it, right? And so I was very unhappy with it, and just straight up honesty, and I returned a knife. So I have no problem being honest with things. That's for better or for worse, right? Sometimes people allow me to check out a knife for free. Sometimes they won't because of that, and I have to buy all my knives, and that's okay. You know, so for that case, I appreciate that. You know, I just want you to know that this is genuinely something I really like. I feel like this is up there with the Drift L, and most of you guys love your Drift Ls. I love this thing. It's just really great. It's a little thinner. It's a little longer. It's a different ergonomics. That may be for you, may not be for you. The Drift L is really beautiful ergonomics, and I love that one a lot. But this one I like a lot too. Works really nice. The thumb studs are great. Everything on there is really, really phenomenal. The Action Phosphor Bronze works really well. Perfectly centered in there. I love that. Blade is great. You can see that. It's a crazy slicer. So let's go ahead and do some measurements of this guy. It's not super heavy. I'm going to say it's about 3 ounces, maybe just a little under 3 ounces. Let's see. No, 3.5 ounces. Completely wrong. 3.5 ounces for this, probably because, you know, you have the steel liner in there. So, I mean, that's kind of probably reasonable to consider. All right, let's look at the overall length of this blade. It's not super small. I'll just tell you that. Let me get my measurement, make sure I got it straight there. Okay. So here we are we're right at, I'd say 8.5 inches. 8.5 inches overall length. If you go from right here, you got about 4.25 inches for the grip. If you try to choke up just a little bit, you get about 4.5 inches in there. And then the blade from the very tip to the handle is about 3.75. If you look at overall cutting length, you're about 3 and I want to say 5/8, somewhere around there. So, you know, not bad, not bad. I mean, you definitely have some nice cutting length, and with that hollow grind, it's going to be super crazy slicey. All right, so let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness. I think I can get in there. Let's see. All right, so we're at 86 thousandths, 86, maybe 87 thousandths of an inch. This is not a thick blade. And just so you know, to be fair, let's go all the way to the very tip out here so you guys can see that. Yeah, 86, yeah, very even there, 86.5. So 86.5 thousandths of an inch. So 0.086 of an inch. It is a thin blade. It's super thin, but so straight and even and beautifully slicey. I love the Vanax Super Clean. It does a nice job of edge retention. Definitely retains the edge better than the LC200N. So I like that. I like that a lot. So, all right, so we got the weight, we got the length, measurements. All right, so is this a budget knife? No, it's not a budget knife. Is it a regular knife? That's $100 to $300. No, it's over $300. So this is gonna be on the higher end knife. This is just over $300. So right now, at least at the time that I got this, it's just over 300 bucks. This is definitely going to be what we call a higher end knife. Barely, just barely. You know, the way with inflation and all, that could be relative for you, maybe 325. If you talk about 325, 350 is the very top of your regular knives, then this might be considered a regular knife, right? If you think over 250 is high-end knife, then well, then this is definitely in that area, right? But it's not cheap knife, but it's not a crazy expensive knife for the quality that you get, and this is done really, really well. All right, so EDC, hard use, collection piece. Absolutely, this is an EDC piece. This is really made for saltwater environments with the Vanax Super Clean titanium handles, LC200N hardware all the way around, the inset liner. All that stuff is all highly water resistant, salt resistant, right? So it could be ocean environment. So absolutely hard use as far as that's concerned. Now, it is a liner lock, so consider that. If you want it to be much tougher than a liner lock, get a fixed blade, right? Then definitely want to consider a fixed blade, my personal opinion, right? Have the right tool for the right situation. This is a great tool to have for those things on a boat where it's salty, wet, and moist. If you're in a very wet environment, swampy area, you're sweating a lot, this is a great knife. It's not going to rust. It's going to do really, really well. So, it's a collection piece. Absolutely can be a collection piece. Any knife can be a collection piece. I don't consider any budget really a collection piece. You can have it in your collection, but it's not a piece you would collect personally because I think they're replaceable. And by definition, a budget knife is a knife used, as a kind of a throwaway if you break it or destroy it, right? Excuse me. So by definition, this would be this would definitely be a collection piece, I think. So at least that's how I would look at it. But it's definitely a nice knife, and it could be hard use and everything. Overall design, the handles are phenomenal. There's no sharp spot anywhere. Everywhere where there could be a little sharp edge, they've chamfered them, they rounded them. Everything's really nice. There's no spot where I feel like it's digging into my hands uncomfortable. Everything is just really, really nice. I really like the blade. Super thin blade. I love that as well. It works really nicely. It's great. It's very fidgety and all that good stuff. So opens and closes really well. Beautiful, smooth phosphor bronze washers. It's got that Chris Reeve Spyderco kind of feel, but it's really nice. And I love that. I love that. And it keeps breaking in and just gets better and better and better, right? Nice crisp detent as far as I'm concerned. I didn't do any tuning on this one. I think it was just really great out of the pocket. So that's nice. Yeah, so really cool. Jimping's nice all the way up here at the top. Works really well, very functional. You can really jimp up pretty far out there. So it does work for a nice cut, especially if you're in a salty, wet environment. You can definitely get your presentation really nicely. The clip is great. It's a wired clip. If I could probably put a Rips Garage technology clip in there, I would probably have to file it to make sure, because I think this is a little wider than the standard Spyderco clip. I'm pretty sure. But it's a great clip. I like their clips anyways. But then also, I think if you use the Rips Garage technology, you'll have to file the screw diameter just to make it a little less, so it can fit in there. But anyways, I like the wire clip. I like their wire clip. So to me, I'm okay with this as this design. I think they execute it really, really well. All right, so overall feel is just phenomenal. Buttery smooth again. You got that feel like you do with the Drift L. And I really, really like that. So if you're curious what I'm talking about when I talk about the Drift L, maybe you haven't seen my review, and it's definitely worth checking out. But here's the Drift L, which is a little wider, bigger, kind of fatter version. It's shorter, right? It's not quite as long. It's a full flat grind. Vanax Super Clean LC200N with all the hardware on here. A little wider, bigger blade, but it's definitely thin like the other one, right, as well. And that phosphor bronze action works really nice. This is a frame lock as opposed to an inset liner lock. So that is the big difference here. You have an inset liner lock, which I like. Some people don't like inset liner locks. Fine. Knife's not for you, right? If you don't like inset liner locks, don't buy it. If you like inset liner locks, hey, check this out. If you don't like inset liner locks, get a Drift L. There you go. There's a frame lock. If you don't like frame locks, get an inset liner lock. I mean, no. If you don't like the knife, don't buy the knife. It's your money. I always tell people that. They're like, well, I don't like that. Well, fine. If you don't like that, great. Why are you telling me? Honestly, why are you telling me? If you're telling me because you have an opinion because of something, cool. Tell me why. Well, I don't inset liner lock because I got big old meaty fingers. It's hard for me to get in there. Okay, fair enough, right? I got big meaty fingers. I can work this inset liner lock really nicely. So I like it. Maybe there's other reasons, right? Maybe you've got a nerve damage. I don't know, whatever. Maybe you got super thick calluses and it's hard for you to get impressed into that. Fair enough, fair enough. And then that's a good point to point out, because then other people who may have the same issue, they learn something. They could say, well, okay, I'm not going to go spend $335 on a knife that I'm going to hate because of that, So if you have those comments, I welcome them, but tell me why, right? That's all I'm saying. Just tell me why. That's cool. We all want to learn. Just making a comment doesn't always. I'm on a rant. I'm sorry. I'm not meaning to be on a rant. I'm just saying it for the sake of, I love to hear people's comments. I really do. But, make it substantive, right? Tell us why you don't like this. Tell us what's the reason here, so we all can learn from you. Maybe there's something that we hadn't considered. So I'm willing to learn. So anyways, that's my overall thoughts there. I love comments. I just want them to be substantive. I want you to, tell me why. Don't just, I hate that knife. Okay, you hate the knife. There's no point in you saying that. That's a wasted words and space there, okay? That's like me just saying, you look ugly. That's horrible. I mean, maybe you are ugly, maybe you're not, but that's just not necessary, right? But if I say, hey, you got a big piece of spinach on your tooth, that looks kind of gross. You might want to know that, right? You might want to know, I got a big piece of spinach in my tooth. Yeah, let me get that out. Thank you. That's helpful. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The knife community, we're all about learning. We all know we can learn. There's knives I didn't like before and I like now. There's knives that I used to like, I don't like anymore. But that's a matter of aesthetics, preference, right? And that's all cool. But you learn and people share what they experience, and that's cool. All right, enough of that rambling there. It's a little Rob's rambling you got for free. All right, my overall feel is great. I love this. Now, this is a flipper only knife, but it flips really well with phosphor bronze. It flips reverse and front. And because it's a liner lock, it reverses and flips really well left-handed as well. I like that. And it is reversible on the clip, so the clip can be left-hand tip up only, right-hand tip up only, right? So it can work really well in that regard. So that's nice. That's really nice. Fidget factor, I'm going to give it a solid 3. It's going to get a 3, not a 2.5, but a solid 3 with the 2 thumb sets because they're executed well. It works well. It's a knife with a purpose that I can live with the thumb studs. When you execute something so well and the knife is, completely just about hidden, and it's a beautiful, almost gentleman-like carry design, I love that. I love that. I think it's great. So I'll give you a solid 3. Man, I'm even inclined to give it a 4. Maybe a 3.5. I'll give it a 3.5, right? So I'm going to give you that. I think it's done that well. I think it's done that well for thumb studs only. These thumb studs work really well. The track that you have right here is perfect. It guides you exactly where you need to deploy it. I mean, it's like, you know, if you put your finger here and you get to that track, boom, you're just going to open it. It's going to work. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5. Round it up to 4. I'll give it a 3.5. It's done really well. So there you go. That's my fidget factor. Now, a fidgety goodness of that. The thumb studs is in the liner lock access and everything. It's 100. This is 100. When you're going to execute thumb studs and do it like this, I'm going to give you 100. That's outstanding. And that's just, I'm picky. I'm picky as all get out when it comes to this. I'm not a single deployment kind of guy. It bothers me if something is just single deployment, but I get the aesthetic here. You're trying to, I mean, it's a gentleman carry. It's beautifully sleek, thin. I mean, this can go right into a wetsuit. It could slick right into a little spot where you might have a pin or underwater marker or something like that. And then you have got a nice backup knife that you can use wherever. This is great. This is great. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to give it 100%. So that's my overall thoughts on that. Is it a recommended knife? You bet you. I mean, come on. You didn't think I talked so positively about this knife. Yes, it's absolutely a recommended knife. I love this knife. I like most quiet carry knives. There's a few I don't, but I like most quiet carry knives. I think they have an aesthetic that's very appealing to me. They have a fixed blade I think is phenomenal. I really like it, that mark. But I do like this a lot. I really do. I really do. And that's not me. I'm not being bought to say that. That's my honest opinion, right? If I didn't like this, I wouldn't carry this. You wouldn't see this in my carry rotation as much as it is because no one pays me to carry anything. I am too small of a channel, too little of a guy. I am not that influential that people are going to be like, oh, if I can get Robert to carry that knife, it's going to make me $1 million in sales. Come on. It's never going to happen. Come on, that's not going to happen. But I will be honest with you, I like it. I really like it. And so it's highly recommended. I love this. It's stayed in my collection. There's a few knives that come and go. This one is one of those, it's got that like long lasting endurance. It's going to stay kind of feel. Just like my drift. I really, really like this. I had the first drift when it came out, just the drift, not the Drift L. Like that knife. It was much smaller. You had a finger choil, worked really nicely. But the problem with that was I just didn't carry it. And the action wasn't as beautiful as this one. This action is just phenomenal in this one. So I'm saying that this has the same thing. This has the same feel for me. And so that's why I say it's recommended. If you're interested in it, get it. My personal experience and my personal preferences, I love this knife. And I think based on what I like, I think you would love this, okay? Now, if there's some things you like that I don't like, or if there's things that I like that you know you don't like, take that into consideration with what I'm saying here, right? So is there anything here that I like that you don't normally like? Think about that, right? But for everything that I like, everything I pointed out, if you can agree with all of that, I think you'd be very happy with this knife. I think it's phenomenal. Definitely one worth getting. But real quick, before we go and wrap it up, I want to do some quick close-up shots because, you know, we do want to take a look at that beautiful hollow grind blade. Look at that beautiful. You can see that reflection on there. Really nice. And then we can see the beautiful milling over here on the handle with the place to reverse the LC200N. Wired clip, minimal hardware. It's pretty. One screw here just for the scale, for the clip. And then over here, there's the stone washed area. You've got the screw here, and screw here. So minimal hardware as well. The little dots for the hardware, LC200N. You can see the liner right here. Beautiful. Fully engaged in there. Really nice. It's inset liner lock. Can you see that? With the milling over there. All right, so let's look at the blade over here. This is the Vanax Super Clean with that beautiful hollow grind. I think that's outstanding. And then you look at the top, you can see how thin that is. Beautifully rounded at the top. It's not quite crown, but it's not super sharp at the top. And this jimping is really, really nice. So overall, I think it's a beautiful knife. So let's take a look at this right here. Look at that beautiful design of the knife. I'm going to just wipe off my fingerprints right there. So there we go. You can see that beautiful hollow grind right there. I love that hollow grind. It is just a really fun hollow grind. It works. It slices really well. This is a fun knife. Personal opinion. I really, really, really like this. I really recommend this knife. I think you would enjoy it too. Hopefully you agree with me. I don't know. But there you go. That's the knife. That's the the Waypoint L. The Waypoint L. It's not that Waypoint LC. That's a different knife. I reviewed that one before with the step mill. This is very different. Phosphor bronze, right? No caged bearings, thinner knife, Vanax super clean, right? A lot of differences. So I think you would enjoy this one. So there you go. Hey, if you have any questions about this knife or this review, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe you agree, you disagree. That's fine. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear why you disagree, though, if you do. Appreciate you guys watching this video. So if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or entertaining, would you please consider hitting that like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps out the channel, allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you to everyone who watches the videos, who likes the videos, who subscribes. I sure appreciate you guys, especially if you watch the video, you watch the live, you're part of everything, you chat, you leave comments and chat in the community. Man, I appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. So I just want you to know that. And did I already say, if you haven't already hit that notification button down there? If I did, well, make sure you hit it. If I'm repeating myself, sorry. Also to all my channel members out there, big thank you. I sure appreciate you guys. You have no idea. You guys really help me to do things more quickly than I ever thought I would be able to do. This channel would be not doing half the things we're doing if it wasn't for you channel members. So just a huge shout out. Thank you to you guys out there. If you've been on the fence, you thought, hey, I'd like to become a channel member too, I would love to have you. I'd be honored. Don't ever feel obligated, but I'd be honored. Check out the link down below. There's in the description, there's a link for 3 different tiers. I would be honored with anything that you would love to do. And just as my small way to say thank you, I do 2 things. One, I do a once a month members giveaway. So I usually make it a very nice knife. It's not a budget knife. You know, it's definitely over a budget knife. And I do that as my small way to say thank you to you guys. Small way to say thank you because of your kindness and your generosity. Yeah, as long as you keep doing that, I'm definitely going to go out of my way to make sure I get you a nice knife for the once a month members giveaway. The other thing I do is brand new channel members, or if you've been a channel member for a while and you're still a member now, or if you were a channel member and became a channel member again but never asked for a channel member sticker, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a sticker. It's my small way to say thank you. I do appreciate that opportunity to say thank you to you guys who support your channel. So thank you. Thank you to everybody. And if you haven't already, check me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.